I think what makes Eastridge different as a professional temporary staffing partner is the fact that we cover each of the different disciplines that any organization would really need to thrive. So if we're using a biotech, for example, we can absolutely support where they might have a higher volume temp headcount, which might be their lab technicians to keep the lab moving forward. But then we can also support them on those contracts administrators or patent professionals that are helping them move through their patent portfolio, as well as their temporary scientists and chemists that they may need. We also help frequently on some of the more high-level interim roles. So maybe they just need someone to come in and focus on regulatory affairs, but they don't know how long they might need that individual in place. We can help them find someone even as specialized as that for a very specific period of time. Oftentimes when we're supporting a client that's newer to temporary staffing and they're looking for some guidance in terms of where to start, we'll look at some of those roles that have been open a really long time that are impacting the business. Where would they actually be able to get the most ROI if those roles were filled? And what would it look like if we were to be able to provide a contingent or interim solution for those roles? And how would it help them be able to achieve their company milestones? Typically looking at those roles that are going to positively impact the business is filled first. And then, of course, any roles where there's a high degree of turnover, and what would it look like for them to be able to carry a little bit of a surplus in those areas so that when the turnover occurs, we could help that continue to move forward. Those are typically areas where we're going to try to diagnose where an interim solution might be best to deploy first. When a lot of people think about temporary staffing, they think of it as something very short term and maybe something that you're doing on the fly. If someone goes out on a maternity leave, you're calling a temp agency and just having them cover a very finite period of time. What a lot of our organizations that are doing that are very sophisticated in their professional temp staffing is they actually are building it into their strategy and their model. They have very specific KPIs and goals that they're measuring against it, and it's part of their business plan. It's a part of their growth strategy to get to where they want to be. Oftentimes, they're looking to have specific departments have a certain percentage of a contingent workforce, and they want to grow that percentage over time in order to give them the agility to scale up and scale down as needed. And these are very large populations of temporary employees oftentimes, and they're ones that stay with the organization for a very long time. Some of our best clients and why they love Eastridge is so that we have similar benefits that they offer their permanent employees. We offer those to the temporary employees. That way, there's really not a difference in how the employees are actually being treated, but it still allows for that business strategy for the organization to be able to have the agility they need as they move into the future.